Well, now we're doing the review for section 5.4, and we were asked to find the amplitude of this thing. Well, the amplitude is the absolute value of whatever the coefficient is on the trig function, so the amplitude equals 4. Now, to find the period, given the cosine function or the sine function of bx, the period equals 2 pi over b, whatever the coefficient is on x. So now we know that the period equals 2 pi over 2, since b is 2, so period equals pi. So we've got the period and the amplitude, and we're done. Now let's do number 2. And for number 2 it says we've got a graph y equals 2 cosine of 1/4 x. So we know this, the amplitude equals 2, and the period equals 2 pi divided by, and the b is 1/4, so the period equals, when you invert and multiply, you get 8 pi. Okay, now let's graph away, and I'll just do it over one, graph it over one period. So let's see. And we're talking about the cosine function, aren't we? So let's just draw a cosine function. Okay, so, and we start to repeat ourselves right here. So then this would be a period of 8 pi. This would be 8 pi. Then also, let's take care of the amplitude. This would be 2, then this would be -2, wouldn't it? And let's keep going. This will be half of 8 pi is 4 pi, and half of 4 pi is 2 pi. So 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi, and 8 pi, and we're done. Well, now we've got the question 3, and the current I in amperes flowing through an AC circuit, alternating current, at time t in seconds is given by this equation. And what's the period, what's the amplitude, and graph the function over 2 periods. Oh, graph it over 2 periods? Okay. Anyhow, so the amplitude is 220, and the period is going to equal 2 pi divided by whatever's in the b position, and that's 60 pi. And the pi's divide out, and 2 goes into 60 30 times. So the period is 1/30. Now we've got to graph that over 2 periods. Okay. So, let's see, I'll start right, this is a good place to start, yeah, okay, and I'll go up a couple, down a couple, up a few, down a few, and land right there, and so this is 220 right here, and minus 220, and let's call this the t-axis and y. And so this will be 1/30, and if we double that, 2/30 becomes 1/15, and half of 1/30 is 1/60, so we went 1/60, 2/60, 3 over 60 becomes 1 over 20. I mean, we can go a little bit farther. We've got those intercepts. How about this? This will be half of 1 over 60 is 1 over 120. 2 over 120. 3 over 120 is going to be 1 over 40, isn't it? 4 over 120 is 130. 5 over 120 is going to be, I guess, 30. 5 over 120. I've got 5 divided by 1, 2. Oh! 5 goes into 5 once, and that's going to be 20. 4. 1 over 24. 1 over 20. That's 6 over 120, which is 1 over 20. 7 over 120. Well, that's just going to be 7 over 120. And this will be 8 over 120, and that becomes 1 over 15, and we're done.